All right, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we have people jumping on globally, so a welcome to you. And thank you so much for joining us and for spending your time with us right now. We have a very, very special guest speaker on with us tonight. My name is Carrie Christie, and I live on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. So I learned about something called biohacking about 7, maybe 8 years ago. And it was 6 years ago, this month actually, that I am partnered with a company that is at the forefront of nutrigenomics. And I am deeply passionate about what we have our hands on. And tonight, we have the absolute privilege to have on a remarkable lady who is one of the leading biohacking doctors in the Southern Hemisphere. Now, when she shared her biography with me, I was blown away. I had already heard her speak, and I was so excited to learn more from her. And when I saw everything that she has studied, her expertise, the accomplishments that she has had in this life already, and I truly believe it's probably just the beginning for her as well. I was absolutely blown away. She is just incredible. And so we have her on here tonight to educate us, to inspire us, and so that we can learn from her expertise. So I want to invite on Dr. Tamara Phieffer. Thank you so much for joining us. And there's so much that I was thinking, do I read your biography or do I pick out pieces from it? But what I would like to ask is, can you please share a little bit about your background and where your expertise has led you, and also your vision for the future?
Hi everybody, thank you so much for having me. It is midday in South Africa, but it's night time for you already, so thank you for giving up your evening. I really appreciate it. I started off in natural medicine. I wanted to be a naturopathic doctor, and as I qualified, one of my dream professors from America came through, and he said to us that it takes between 30 and 50 years for new research to filter down into general practice in medicine. And that just terrified me to the core. From that moment, I decided that I will wake up every single morning at 4 a.m. and make sure that I'm reading through new journal articles to ensure that I'm giving my patients the latest research and implementing that into my practice. And that led me to study on further. So from there, I studied a master's in integrative medicine, advanced preventative medicine, nutrigenomics, and genetics. I am now studying biogerontology, which is more the biohacking stuff. It is so awesome. What we do is we study how to clean up the cumulative damage in your body before it creates disease. So it's that true science between health span, youth span, and lifespan extension. And now I'm starting a new degree in biotechnology. So I'm so excited to be in biotech because that industry is just so fast moving and phenomenal, getting all the tools of medicine into the hands of so many people that just never had access before.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much. I just blown away. So you are a biohacking medical doctor, and I know I've said the term biohacking a few times already. Can you explain to the average person who doesn't know what biohacking is, what it is in a simple explanation?
So what we want to do with medical biohacking is we want to understand an individual's biochemistry and genetics. So get as much individualization as possible. Another word for it is looking at it as precision medicine or precision nutrition, where we're making it as individual as possible. And then what our goal is that first we want to try and relinquish age-related and chronic diseases. But after that, we want to push you beyond health being just the absence of disease and into a place of performance optimization. So thinking better, feeling better, less pain, more agility, more strength, all of these things that are possible. And we do that by manipulating our diet and our environment and our nutraceuticals to create a space where we are 75% less likely to get those predisposed diseases of our ancestors.
Yes, awesome. So literally altering our genetic expression.
Right.
Yes, yes, amazing. So what is nutrigenomics? Once again, to the average person that has no idea what it is, can you tell us what nutrigenomics is? Because I know that you've studied that extensively.
So there are two primary kinds of, or three kinds of genetic testing. We can test high penetrance genes, and those are things like the BRCA1, BRCA2 gene for breast cancer. And if you're positive for a high penetrance genes, it is very, very likely in the 90th percentile that you will get that illness, and there's very little we can do about it. However, with low penetrance genetic testing, this is a kind of testing that allows us to understand how our body deals with inflammation, how our body processes toxins and poisons, how likely we are to put on fat cells or lose fat cells, what kind of exercise is best for us. And by understanding that genetic map and changing your diet and lifestyle around that, and plugging the holes with certain supplements and nutrients. So the reason we plug holes is because some of us just can't break down certain things. I, for example, I cannot break down vitamin B6, B12, and folic acid. It's just not possible for me. So 20, 30, 40 years of never having those nutrients can result in chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, muscle fatigue, and heart to muscle. So that plays a huge part in heart health. And then also plays a role in mood, because that same cycle called the methylation cycle moves into a cycle that produces serotonin and replaces serotonin once it's been used up. So when we talk about nutrigenomics, we're finding out which things we are unable to break down, and then taking the form of that nutrient that our body was supposed to break it down into, so that we build a bridge over that little mutation and we don't get the symptoms related.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Okay, so in your experience, have you've learned about oxidative stress? And this, again, this might be a term that a lot of people on this call, a lot of them know what oxidative stress is, and some people may not know what it is. Can you explain what oxidative stress is and what the effects oxidative stress can potentially have on our bodies?
Oxidative stress is a normal process in our bodies. It happens when we breathe, when we exercise, when we break down nutrients. So our body was designed to deal with a certain amount of oxidative stress. However, the genes that we were created with were not created for the environment that we now live in. Our environment has evolved way, way faster than our genes could keep up with. So now the level of oxidative stress, the level of damage, pollution, free radicals, radiation, all of these things that our body is bombarded with, we simply don't have the resources available to deal with both the natural forms of oxidative stress and the punishment from our environment.
Yes, yes, amazing. And what are some of the effects that oxidative stress has on the body?
So oxidative stress causes low-grade inflammation. It's almost like a low-grade damage that's occurring all the time, and it's poisoning our cells. When we have too many free radicals, we just don't have a good enough defense system, and it starts to damage the cells and the tissues around those areas that are at a weaker point.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. And what are some ways that you keep your own oxidative stress levels low? And how can nutrigenomics play a role in this?
So we need to be a little bit smarter than we used to be, right? So we used to think that if we take one antioxidant, it'll kill one free radical. And that worked very well in a petri dish. But it doesn't work that well in the human body because antioxidants are really unstable. So when you open up the bottle, it's exposed to the air, it's already broken down antioxidant potential. Then you put it into your mouth, the saliva breaks down some, stomach acid breaks down some, digestive enzymes breaks down some. By the time it gets to your intestines for absorption, it's primarily phytonutrients left and not so much that antioxidant potential that we saw in the petri dish. The smarter way to do things is to try and activate genetic pathways within your cells so that when they produce those antioxidants, so we're talking about the NRF1, NRF2, SIRT1, SIRT2, these kinds of genes, when we activate them and we're producing antioxidants within each cell simultaneously, that's really where the magic starts because it doesn't have to go through all those processes where it's getting broken down.
Right. Amazing. I think that kind of goes into, I was going to ask too. So we have a product that is a Nerve2 activator. And in your studies and practice, how have you found, how important is it to activate that Nerve2 pathway?
It's exceptionally important, especially as we move into this lifestyle with so much stress. And when I talk about stress, firstly, psychological stress is way beyond anything we knew in the past. But the physiological stress and environmental stressors are huge. We think we're doing the right thing by going for a jog, but if we're jogging in peak hour traffic and we're hyperventilating all of those fumes, it's also causing that damage. So it was an interesting study that came out that showed that if you activate NRF2, not only is it that phenomenal antioxidant potential, up to 3,000 antioxidants are activated with NRF2, but they've even found that it can remyelinate nerves by up to 60%. So in our nerves, we have this beautiful insulation tape called a myelin sheath, and that keeps the electricity passing through at a smooth, comfortable rate. The minute that there are holes or pivots in those myelin sheaths, and those are caused by things like aspartame, it's been shown to be a huge cause of eating away that myelin sheath, then we start to get nerve-related diseases and musculoskeletal diseases because we don't have those pathways activating properly. So NRF2 has been shown to actually re-establish the integrity of that myelin sheath around the nerves by up to 60%. It's massive.
Wow, I'm learning so many new things. This is amazing. Okay, so on that note with activation, we also have a product that is a Nerve1 activator, and I know you love everything about mitochondria, right? So this product boosts our mitochondria production. Can you share with those that are on the call that might not know what mitochondria are at all, what mitochondria are and their role in optimal performance and vitality and health and wellness?
Right. So mitochondria, we used to think, if we go back to sort of grade 9, they taught us that our mitochondria are the powerhouses of our cells. They produce all the energy of our cells. But that's all they taught us. So yes, they do produce 97% of our energy, but they do so much more. They're involved in healthy cell life and healthy cell death. So the mitochondria actually tell your cell when it's time to turn over. It's involved in detoxification of the cell. The mitochondria are actually the little vacuum cleaners or janitors in your cells that clean up excess free radicals, protect your DNA. It helps with your proliferation of healthy cells, and so much more. Even the heme, that little piece in your blood cell that transports your oxygen so you can exercise, even that is controlled by your mitochondria. So it's a massive amount of work that your mitochondria is doing for you. And some phenomenal things that came through in recent research is that you produce about 10 million billion mitochondria. It's massive. And the DNA of your mitochondria makes up about 10% of your total body weight. So to ignore something that does so much is almost crazy. And not only that, but your mitochondria have been shown to actually protect your telomeres. How much do you guys know? Have you heard of telomeres?
I'm sure there's some of us on the call that know about them, but yeah, we want to learn. So tell us, educate us.
They are so cool. So telomeres are these protective caps that sit around your chromosome. Your chromosome is that part of your genetic material. And if you imagine an old sneaker, when you first bought your sneaker, it had that really nice little plastic cup over the edge of the lace. And as you wore it, that became frayed and damaged. Now, your telomere is very similar to that on your chromosome. And every time your cell replicates, it gets shorter and more frayed, and that can tell you your biological age quite accurately. Having strong, healthy mitochondria has been shown to protect the length of that telomere. So it actually makes you biologically younger.
Wow. Did not know that. That is amazing. Wow. Is there anything else about mitochondria that comes to mind to share? I'm like,
Oh my gosh. More stuff when I talk too much, but
no,
so oxidative stress, we know it increases your metabolism, it increases your energy levels, increases exercise performance. They've actually shown by stimulating this little guy called PGC1 alpha, which tricks your body into making more mitochondria. You can burn up to 1 kilogram of fat and gain up to 1 kilo of lean muscle mass in 1 month. Because it's your energy production cycle, it promotes cognitive function phenomenally. It reverses your biological age, and it's even been shown to increase lifespan in mammals.
Right.
So amazing things are happening at that mitochondrial level, and we just can't afford to ignore it the way we have. And I also find it quite interesting, and yeah, I love it when original wisdom sort of gets caught up by science. So science catches up with original wisdom.
Right.
When we spoke about traditional Chinese medicine and we spoke about energy production and how if the energy is stagnant in certain areas, then there's going to be a disease process. The new word for that is mitochondria. So where they've got mutated mitochondria, if you have mutated mitochondria in your mind, in your liver, in your muscles, that's where the energy is stagnating. That's where the mitochondria are not working, and that's where disease processes happen, because you can no longer clean out that accumulative damage. Leads to massive inflammation, problems with inactivated cell death. So you have cancer cells and free radicals and all of these things running crazy in that area.
Wow. So it is just so important to take care of our mitochondria, and that activation of the NRF1 pathway is huge. Wow.
Massive.
Amazing. So in your opinion, how can we help others understand the importance of biohacking when maybe they haven't heard about biohacking from their doctors or the medical community?
I say the thing that really holds true for me with my patients is when I explain to them, the current state of being is not ideal. The current state of being is we get stronger and faster and smarter until about 25, 30. And then it's just a slow downhill path, sicker and slower and in more pain for the next 30, 40, 50 years. Not only is that a massive financial strain, but it's a psychological and emotional strain, not only on you, but your family and your loved ones. When you look at centenarians, so people who die over the age of 100, they found that they only spend 1/3 on healthcare compared to us who die between 60 and 70. That's just, it's crazy. How do you live that much longer and spend so much less on medicine? And the reason is that they only start to decline in their last 3 to 4 years, whereas we decline for 3 to 4 decades. Right. So it's our responsibility to ensure that we change that health curve, that we stay healthy, because science says we only should decline in the last 2 to 3 years. It shouldn't be the way it is now. Mm-hmm. So having those tools to literally turn back the clock, to turn back your biology and feel like you're 30 in your 30s and 40s when you're in your 80s and 90s, I mean, that's a gift it's the greatest gift of all. People often say you need to be wealthy to be healthy. I disagree with that. I believe that you need to be healthy in order to gain wealth. Because if you're not feeling your best and you're not optimal and you're not thinking clearly, how can you have the creativity to move forward?
That is right. And I know everybody on this call will resonate with that so much. That's our heart speaking right there too. Yes. Amazing. So people, like, going back to that question, people that don't understand biohacking in the medical community might not get it. How would you encourage others to really grasp what biohacking is when they're not hearing about it, from people maybe that they, hold it at that credible level?
Right. I use the word biogerontology when I speak to doctors about biohacking. Biogerontology and precision medicine, working at a genetic level, because hacking has a bit of a negative connotation to it. The nerdy people like us in the room see hacking as this exciting way to crack the code, right? Yes. But in the medical fraternity, we want that science-based evidence. The truth is there's more science-based evidence for this kind of medicine than there is for the old school way of thinking, where we used to isolate and specialize and know more and more about less and less. Seeing a whole person and seeing that golden thread that links everything together, the mitochondria, the chronic inflammation, the antioxidants, those things are becoming much more studied and much more verified. well, how else can we explain it to them? So also you want to change the paradigm of thought from health being just the absence of disease. It's just not good enough anymore. You have to be optimized, and people need to stay on the top of their game, and especially since we're living longer and longer, we have to compete with people 20 years our junior. It's not only important to get Botox and fillers and look great on the outside. It's much, much, much more important to be younger on the inside. So there are tests coming out which are really interesting that can test your biological age. And by doing these kinds of exercises and putting in these kinds of supplements and then retesting your biological age and seeing that you're 5 years younger, losing that chronic pain, being more agile, able to run and jump and climb with your grandkids again, no longer having psoriasis and eczema and all of that. I mean, people are after that. They're looking for those answers. They're tired of being told that it's just an autoimmune disease and nothing can be done.
Right. Yes. Everything that you're talking about just reminds me so much, like our company's mission is to extend people's health span, not just their lifespan, but their health span and their quality of life. And that reminds me of what you said before about, feeling good and that decline happening in just those last few years before death. This is amazing. It's fascinating. So what is one thing that you would share with all of us today that we could start doing now for optimal health in every aspect?
Oh, become solar powered. That's my biggest advice. Solar powered. So we should go to bed with the sunset and rise with the sunrise. We shouldn't be staying up late at night, and work is important, but investing in your rest is almost more important. To function optimally, you can get much more done in fewer hours. That would definitely be number one. Low grade exercise, at least 150 minutes per week, has been shown to phenomenally increase that health span. And one of the primary things that starts that quick decline in old age is that first fall. So making sure that you are agile and strong enough to sit on the floors. There was a really interesting study, actually. If you stand with your legs crossed, and then you sit down so your bum's on the floor and then stand back up again without using your hands, this is one of the greatest predictors of death, of how quickly you're going to pass on. So this is something we should practice. And then for telomere length, a really interesting thing, when they studied all the blue zones, they found that the primary thing, even beyond nutrition and diet and exercise, the more people you make eye contact with and smile at actually increases the length of your telomere. It's crazy. And the magic number is 50. So you need to smile and make eye contact with every single person in your life, every person who serves you coffee or does your petrol, or everyone. Exercise a little bit. Walking is more than enough. Little bit of muscle mass, because us as ladies unfortunately lose muscle mass from the age of 25 like smarties. And sleep and water.
Amazing. So what was that? So sitting down on the floor with your legs crossed and getting up without using your hands, was that it?
I wonder if I can show you. I don't even know if I have a place that can show you my whole body. Let me see if I can figure it out. I can take you for a walk around my house quickly.
Yeah.
My dog's going to attack me.
I bet everybody that doesn't have their camera on is trying it right now, right?
I don't know if you can see my whole... Oh. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe if I stay on my bed.
I love it.
Let's see. Try to stand on my bed.
Yeah. I can see you, yes.
It's a bit difficult on the bed because it's a bit smushy, but
yeah.
So you're going to cross your legs over, like that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to hold your hands in front of you and sit down.
Yeah.
And get back up again.
Back up. Okay.
Everyone try, but every time you wobble and every time you put a hand down, they take off points, and they can predict up to the month how much longer.
Wow, that is
crazy.
Fascinating. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, we are all going to be doing that, and I'm going to be sharing that with everybody. Oh my goodness. So that is all of our questions, and wow, we got through that so timely. That was amazing. Is there anything else on your mind, on your heart that you could share with fellow biohackers? You know, anything else that you would like to share with us, because we are all ears. Like we just love learning about all of this.
I would say just be conscious and get people around you to be conscious of every decision in your lives, because although it's impossible to be 100%, we take steps every day that either move us towards an ailing, painful old age, or a healthy old age where we're still jumping, running, climbing trees. And every step we take every day, every decision we make, everything we eat, every time we decide to get up and dance in the morning or decide not to, every time we choose a positive versus a pessimistic attitude, every single one of those items is going to either elongate that health span or shorten that health span. And it's just a phenomenal opportunity to be that example for the world when you can be this positive, happy person. Because another thing that shortens telomeres is a pessimistic attitude. So being in this group of people that is so positive and that is actively taking steps towards health and taking that responsibility for you and your loved ones is going to shine a beautiful light for the people surrounding you, which will then shine a light, and it'll be this beautiful ripple effect. So just those little conscious steps every single day add up to something beautiful in the end.
That's right. By small and simple things, great things are established. Things come to pass. Amazing. You, Dr. Tamara, are such a light. It just permeates, right? It's just shines so bright. Thank you so much for taking. I know you were such a busy lady. You were just all over. I've shared with everybody. She was on the radio and on the news and everything within the last 6 hours. And here she is with us tonight. And we're just so grateful for your time with us. And can I ask, if people want to follow, which they're all going to want to follow you, they're all going to want to learn more from you, what's the best places to find you? I know you're on Facebook, and I'm sure you're on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram, but yeah, can you share with us how we can follow you more?
Yeah, Instagram is probably the best place. My Instagram handle is @longevity, which is longevity, but instead of the TY spelled with a me for personalization. So longevity, and then my website is longevity.com. Facebook, I'm Dr. Tamara Phieffer. But wherever you want to, if you have any questions or you just want to be in touch or want to put something together, let me know. I love this stuff. I could talk about it all day, so no questions are too many.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. I can see all the love coming through in the chats for you. I would love to open up to questions, but I know that could go on forever, and it's later, so I want to respect your time and all of ours. But yes, get in touch with her if you guys have a question that's just real strong in your mind. And once again, Dr. Tamara, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for being with us here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had so much fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We're going to stop the recording and I'm going to end the meeting right there. And lots of love to everybody. Mwah. Have a good night, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And thank you. All right. We'll see you later.
Bye.